Hey everyone, my name is Victor Dwyer, and today we're going to be diving into customer tracking software. After iOS 14, it's very hard to do this, but a lot of people have been really working to figure it out. So let's dive right into it. So this is our research sheet of everything that we've done. This sheet has all the latest softwares out there, the latest platforms, the latest e-commerce, the latest tools, the latest services, everything, all this in one sheet. If you want access to it, it's in the description below. You can use it, no problem. We give it out for free. And from there, let's kind of really dive into what this customer tracking software is. This is something that we built out for our clients, but I wanted to share it out with the world because there's no reason not to share it out with the world. So we have things like amplitude, mix panel, and things like that. Um, and you can really start getting into like customer tracking software, and then also like conversion attribution tools. Customer tracking software is going to be like mapping the journey, mapping the customer journey. What UTM's? What is the most effective way to use UTM's? And a lot of people are going to naturally go to Google Analytics for this. The main thing with Google Analytics, though, it lacks the ability to. The best way to say this is mapping certain customer journeys and easily integrating it with other tools can be difficult. I don't have a good example on the top of my head, but usually other tools will, for example, it's very difficult to integrate your cost of what's happening within your customer tracking software. So for example, it with another tool, you can integrate the cost of, okay, I spent $50 to acquire this customer, and I've gotten $150 back on that customer. Getting that $150 mark is easy on Google Analytics, but getting the cost on that data is very difficult. So other softwares will actually integrate to Facebook and other things like that to pull in that cost and tell you how much it takes to get the cost of the customer. So just keep that in mind. And certain tools will do that, certain ones won't. But just keep that in mind. That's the main reason why I personally didn't like Google Analytics, because you have to manually import the cost and you can't break it down by customer. It's very frustrating. So um, the way I currently know how to use that Google Analytics. But other tools I know that can. So yes, that is how the customer tracking software. If you're really trying to understand, okay, the lifetime value of Facebook, the lifetime value of what's happening on Google, like with these certain customer journeys and what they look like, this is the customer tracking software for you. And this is how to choose it. Do they help you with data management? Do they help you personalize recommendations? Do they track the customer path? Do they give you heat maps, meaning like are they tracking where people click? Will help you actually enrich your data to make it more valuable for you. We'll give you retention. How much people are coming back to your site? Dashboards and things like that. And then we'll give you pricing on this side. Um, and then once we have that, we can go down to the conversion attribution tools. This is going to be more for those offline conversion datas, meaning that, um, for example, let's say someone viewed your Facebook ad. After iOS 14, it's going to be a lot harder to track. But when people are able to track offline conversions, people are able, like, for example, Google Analytics, you can't just have someone that looks at the ad and then track that as conversion. But through offline conversions, you can see the people that looked at your Facebook ad, and Facebook will track that as an offline conversion if they go buy on your website. And there's tools that can integrate that and say, hey, this person looked at your ad and did not click on it, but went to your website anyway and purchased. Like, you'll be able to track those type of things. Now, iOS 14 really screws that up in a way, but it's better than nothing. So that's what offline conversions are. And it also tracks the conversion of the attribution accuracy rate after iOS 14. It will also give you some of that data as well, which is really neat. So it'll tell you, okay, this data is actually only 20% accurate, which is important. And then it'll feed the attribution back, and optimize from there. So basically what this means is it'll take the data in and feed it back into the original platform and tell you how much to basically make the data more enriched. So for example, Facebook really sucks right now at tracking all the conversions that are happening right now. So if you got $100,000 on your website, it's only going to track. It's either going to over attribute or under attribute. It's never going to get it right. But if it sends that data back, it will actually make it where it won't under attribute, and it'll make sure that it won't. It's going to make it where it's more accurate. Is the goal. And then from there, this is going to give you more funnel optimization, saying, hey, these are ways you can increase. These are some of the drop offs. In-depth customer profiling. This isn't really its specialty. This is more for the more customer tracking software. IP tracking. You can get really fancy on that. I mean, did that. And then you can start getting into attribution modeling, which is really fancy. Basically meaning that, hey, people that went for Facebook, they went through this path. People that went through Google went through this path. Then you can get to server-side tracking, which is basically rather than tracking through, the best way to say this is rather than tracking the data through the cookie, essentially through the pixel, you're able to cross-reference the data on the back end. So when someone uses their email address to purchase, you can actually send that data back and track it going forward with their email address. Is the best way I know how to explain it. And then there's event tracking based off what pages they go to. Facebook API integrations, Google API integrations to keep feeding that data back and forth. Lifetime value reporting, very important. What is the lifetime value of your current customers? Site speed and performance, only one does that. Things that will integrate with Shopify, WooCommerce, WordPress, BigCommerce, Wix, Magento, eBay, and then we'll also give you the pricing. And then we'll also give you like some unique remarks of why it's special. So my recommendation so far, I kind of went through these, and the best one I liked was Segmentrix, personally. I thought it was cheap and it had a lot of. You just have to do you have to basically click on the buttons manually. Is the only thing I didn't like. I think most of these tools you have to. So just keep that in mind. Like basically, if you wanted to track how many people are adding to cart and purchasing, you'd have to actually click those things and have someone do that process, which is unfortunate. But Segmentrix had some really cool data on that. So just keep that in mind. This is very, very surface level. We're not going too deep into any of these tools. Ideally, I'd like to go through each one of these tools and give you a pros and cons of each one, but I don't have that much time, unfortunately. So this is something that we generated for our clients, and I hope it was valuable to you to help make the decision of what the best customer tracking software, the best conversion attribution tools were. Hopefully this is valuable for you, and just let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, guys.